Cbse, Grade 6, Chapter 8, Poem Vocation. We'll see the summary and the question and answers. Summary. Vocation is a poem by Rabindranath Tagore. It contains the wish of a child. The child is the poet himself. He sees three persons at three different times. He likes all the three persons. He wants to be each one of them. The morning comes, he goes to school. He meets a bangle seller crying bangles, crystal bangles. The child likes his free way of life. He can follow any road. He can go to any place. He has no fixed time for doing anything. In fact, the bangle seller is not at all in hurry. The child wishes that if he were a hawker crying bangles, crystal bangles. It is 4 p.m. The child comes back from school. He sees a gardener. A gardener is digging the ground. He is also a free man. He can soil his clothes with dust. So the child wishes to be a gardener. Night comes. The child's mother sends him to bed. The lane is lonely and dark. The street lamps stand like a giant with one red eye in its head. The watchman swings his lantern. He never goes to bed. The child wishes that he were a watchman walking the streets all night, chasing the shadows. Now, working with the poem, your partner and you may now be able to answer the questions. Who is the speaker in the poem? Who are the people the speaker meets? What are they doing? So, two ways are there. The poet himself is a speaker in the poem. The poet meets a street hawker. He's selling bangles. Then he meets a gardener. He's digging the ground. Then he meets a watchman walking up and down. The second way, the speaker is a little child who goes to school. On his way to school, he met a hawker who cried bangles, crystal bangles. When he returned from school, he watched a gardener who was digging the ground. When it got dark and his mother sent him to bed through his window, he saw the watchman walking up and down. What wishes does the child in the poem make? Why does the child want to be a hawker, a gardener, or a watchman? Pick out the lines in each stanza which tells us this. The child wishes to be a hawker, gardener, and a watchman because all of these are free to do whatever they like. The child in the poem wants to be a hawker, a gardener, and a watchman. When he looks at the hawker, he wishes he could also spend his days on the road crying bangles, crystal bangles. He feels that there is nothing to hurry the hawker on. There is no road he must take, no place he must go, and no fixed time when he must come home. These are the things that he cannot do himself, and therefore he wants to be a hawker so that he could do all these things. Next, he wishes he was a gardener because a gardener does what he likes with his spade. He soils his clothes with dust. Nobody scolds him if he gets baked in the sun or gets wet. Therefore, if the little child was a gardener, nobody would stop him from digging. Finally, he sees the watchman and wants to be like a watchman so that he could walk through dark and lonely streets all night with his lantern and chase shadows. When he is put to bed and is not allowed to roam outside, he sees the watchman swinging his lantern with his shadow at his side, and he feels that the watchman never even once has to go to bed in his entire life. Therefore, he wants to be a hawker, a gardener, and a watchman so that he could do all things that they did as he could not do them being a child. So, from the way the child envies the hawker, the gardener, and the watchman, we can guess that there are many things the child has to do or must to do. Make a list of the do's and don'ts that the child doesn't like. The first line is done for you. Come home at fixed time. Child must do. Child must not get his clothes dirty in the dust. Right. Go to bed when it got dark. Get baked in the sun and get wet. Get baked in the sun or get wet. Both the child must not do. Child must go to school every day. Child must not walk on dark and lonely street at night. Find out the different kinds of work done by people in your neighborhood. Make different cards for different kinds of people. You can make the card colorful with pictures of the person doing the work, like a greeting card also you can do, or whatever you wish. You just make a card for that people, like milkmen. Then what other things you can able to see there, you can do it. That's all. Thank you, dear.